Today we are going to just take a look at, in literary commentary, get introduced to the idea and just go over sort of some basic foundational ideas in terms of why do we do it, what do we do, when we do it, what should our goals be, and in what contexts do we run into literary commentary over the next couple years of your schooling. There are two kinds of commentary when we're talking about literary or just text commentary, as we think about it for testing, basically. There's the scene commentary, so that would be a commentary from something that you've read. This is what the IB oral commentary is. You've seen it, you read it. For example, this speech from Act 5, Scene 1 by Lady Macbeth. This is what we're reading in 10th grade English, and we're going to write commentaries on some of the speeches from this play. So the other kind is unseen. For example, if you want to take a look at some of these, you can go to the AP's website. This is online, anyone can check it out. There are plenty of examples, and for AP Literature, question 1 and 2 are these kind of unseen commentaries. Here's a selection that you have not read before, and you have to respond to it. You need to analyze it and compose a response. There's poetry first, and then prose second, or drama, and that's unseen. On the IB exam, you're also going to run into unseen commentary in question 1, which, for example, on the language and literature test, that is at SL, one text, and they're going to give you a number of guiding questions. On the higher level, it's going to be comparative, and you're just going to need to know what to do when you walk in the room, so you don't get the guiding questions with that. So when you do get guiding questions, what do they look like? Well, you can see here from the IB, again, language literature guide, there are some sort of guidelines for what they should be like. Ultimately, a way to let you get into the text, focus on some major piece of the text, not specific lines per se, but major structural structural pieces, techniques, those kind of points. So you can see down here there are some example questions, and you can look at those, and they do focus on structure, style, literary devices, narrator's point of view, audience, those different rhetorical pieces, depending on what it is that you are being asked to examine. On the other hand, if you look at an AP style response, here we have the prompt, and ultimately this is Form B for the overseas, and generally it looks like this. Analyze the literary techniques Oates uses to characterize the speaker. So you have some focus, characterization, literary techniques. This will, in fact, differ on the Form A. Now, just because it looks like this on the Form A, it's not always the case, but I think what I notice when I look at it is very often the US version says things like this. You may wish to consider such literary devices such as narrative perspective and selection of detail. It focuses you a little, and I think in commentary a prompt or question can do. Likewise, just by way of comparison, the question 1 on the AP Lit, we see this is the poetry question and a well-developed essay in which you analyze how the poet conveys the complex relationship of the father and the son, the use of literary devices such as point of view and structure. Over here on Form B, analyze how the poet conveys a view of modern love. So it's asking you to figure out how the poet gets focused on this thematic question. Ultimately, when we think about what we're doing with commentary, I think we have to focus on this. What has the author done in this text? We're not writing about the author, though. We're writing about the text. Ultimately, different techniques, language choices, structure, the effect of these decisions on the meaning of the piece, and then ultimately examining, discussing in depth the theme, which is that main meaning of the piece. There's room for personal response. This is definitely not time for a book review like I thought this was good or bad, but you can have a personal perspective, maybe the ethical nature of the content. You know, basically, you can personally examine the theme, but your job here is definitely not to critique the piece. So that's basically it. Be it seen or unseen, your job in commentary has been laid out for you here. The reason we do this is ultimately to examine your analytic capabilities, the quality of your reading, the closeness of your reading, and your ability to compose a cogent, well balanced response to a piece. And quite often, I mean, the reality is this is on a timed test usually, so it's in a limited period of time. What we'll do next time is we'll take a look in depth at this speech from Lady Macbeth, the beginning of Act 5, and show you what this looks like.